Hi, this is Shelly Craft, and welcome to SNN Live. We're at the Cambridge House, California Resource Conference 2013, right here in lovely Indian Wells, California. With me is Mickey Fulp, the Mercenary Geologist and a featured speaker at Cambridge House conferences. And we're here to say hello from SNN Live and welcome back.
Well, thanks for having me once again, Shelly. Appreciate it.
Okay, you're speaking at Cambridge House. Tell me what the topic is.
Well, I have a panel discussion on Sunday morning with some heavyweights in the business. Rick Rule's the moderator, John Kaiser, Brent Cook, and I are going to be talking about the status of exploration in the junior resource sector. I also have a Q&A on junior resource stocks later on that morning, and I just take questions from the audience and I give an honest opinion.
So I wanted to bring up a subject with you that is akin to my heart and something that I talk about myself and write about, and that is the world of startup companies and the world of micro-cap companies, both public and private, don't get me wrong, right? And I was going to ask you, tell me what your reflections are regarding startup companies in your sector, the resource market.
Well, that's where the real money is made. Seed stock, founders shares, pre-IPO, the private portion, get in early on those deals, and those are the people that it's high-risk venture capital, but they're the ones that end up with a 20 or 50 or 100 baggers generally. But this is, for every one of those companies that succeed, probably 20 or 30 or 50 of them fail. So this is really high-risk capital.
So we're into the world of risk reward.
Absolutely.
So give me an example of some companies that come to mind when you think about the successful startup companies.
Well, very little known fact, I think, is that 6 of the top 11 gold companies, and this is through the Forbes Global 2000, the world's 2,000 largest public companies, 6 of the top 11 gold companies started as either Vancouver Stock Exchange or Toronto Venture Juniors, led by the 225th largest company in the world, Barrick Gold. Barrick Gold, as we both know, started as Barrick Oil and Gas back in the early 80s. In fact, a fraternity brother of mine and a guy I grew up with, I played golf and baseball with since I was 5 years old, was the president of Barrick Oil and Gas. And now it is the largest gold company in the world.
American Barrick, we all remember.
American Barrick. They were called Barrick Oil and Gas before that, if memory serves.
Yeah. And then so drop the American again, right?
Right. Yeah. And so then we had number 2 largest gold company is Goldcorp. Then we have Yamana, Eldorado, IAMGOLD, and Kinross, all in the top 11. So those all started out as piddly-ass little juniors in the resource sector, micro caps, if you will.
So let's take a 2-step back look-see at, comparatively speaking, there are startup companies right now in our universe, and they're struggling. Let's call it what it is.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a tough get.
Right.
Finding investors, whether they have the potential to become the next Barrick or not, it's a tough road to hoe, because there's a lot more companies out there looking for the same investor to come in and make an investment in a startup company. So what is the direction that you think the panel's going to go when you start discussing the exploration companies tomorrow?
Well, I can't speak for my mates, but I know which direction I'm going to go, and that is exploration is very risky now, so my choice are advanced explorers, and you do the same old thing, share structure people and projects, and undervalue. Well, everything's undervalued right now, arguably, but the real key to it is money in the bank. So you want to pick companies that their financial success is guaranteed. In other words, they have enough money to continue for a year or two. And if they don't have that, it's a pretty risky deal.
So let me ask you a question. Our audience is mostly investors, individuals. Mm-hmm. And, you know, on occasion, you know, we'll have a person who might be an institution or invests in the same size as an institution would. So if you were going to become an investor in this market, and I know it's a risky market, mm-hmm. and what do you do when you have a company that may have an incredible resource, yet may be undercapitalized? When do you swoop in, and what kind of investor should you be or become to get really involved in the market today?
Well, I don't think you swoop in as a retail investor, and that's really what I'm a retail. Let me go back and say I would consider myself a retail professional investor. Mm-hmm. So as a retail professional investor, relatively small, I don't swoop in with companies that don't have money. I may try, if I see an opportunity. I just did this with a tungsten company. I saw an opportunity. I gathered my group of strategic investors, most of who have many more assets than I do, and I brought them in, and we have financed this tungsten company. I'm not going to mention it because it's going to come out in the next week or so. But we saw the opportunity. Company needed capital. It was having trouble raising capital. I said, well, this is a good deal. Let's throw some money at this one and see.
That's called swooping, by the way.
Okay. Okay. All right. But most people don't have, unless they're professionals like me, don't have the contacts and the access to capital with some angel investors or a strategic group, however you want to say this. Mm-hmm. So they don't have that opportunity. So if you're a retail guy, and we both speak to the retail lay investor, I think, mm-hmm. certainly my newsletter is totally devoted to those guys. They need to coattail what professional investors are doing. You see that financing, you say, okay, well, somebody's behind this, and maybe this company I ought to take a look at.
So, ladies and gentlemen, here's a perfect segue. Let's get right into it. Tell us the website and a little bit about your newsletter, if you would, and what you're doing to get your message out.
Okay. I offer a free subscription service on my newsletter at mercenarygeologist.com. I run a sponsor model, so that's how I can give all my information for free. I do lots of interviews. The audio content, including this interview, is posted 24/7, live streaming internet radio, mercenarygeologist.fm, and we're very active on Twitter right now with over 26,000 Twitter followers at Mercenary Geo.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mickey Fulp, the mercenary geologist. And for a nice guy, he's not really a mercenary, ladies and gentlemen. Maybe financially he is, but I don't know. Personally, I love him. He's a featured speaker at Cambridge House. We are at Cambridge House, California Resource Conference 2013 in Indian Wells, California. I'm Shelly Craft. This is SNN Live. And Mick, always good to see you.
Always a pleasure.
You got it.